Hey everybody, I'm just back today and I'm doing an update on the various things that I've got going on. I don't feel like I've had a tremendous amount of progress lately, although these buildings, despite the sort of simple look that I'm painting them, doing the details and some of it is taking a little longer than I would expect. One thing I'll point out since I have it in the shot here is this fire escape. It's just a monotone color that I have here, but because I put it on and glued it on first without having it like already painted. The reason I did that is, as you all know, I mean, paint doesn't, when things are already painted, they tend not to glue very well, and then you have to sort of, you know, maybe take the paint off in spots where glue points are going to be and stuff in order to get things that are already painted to kind of glue together. I opted to just build it and then paint it, and painting this with a brush, not just spraying it, and trying not to get it on the building itself was sort of like, I likened it to trying to paint the inside of a Chinese apple. It was just like, you know, or a honeycomb or something. It was just really difficult because they're all slotted, this entire thing. And so I did my best to actually get every single spot on the whole thing. That actually took me a while to do. I ended up painting the air conditioning units. I used different colors at times just so to show kind of like not everybody has the same exact air conditioning unit. And then I ended up doing the sidewalks and as well as the entrance for the building. For the rest of them, I basically ended up doing, where there was an escape, I just did a monotone sort of, or I should say back stairway. I did the back stairway. And then I also, for all of them, just did a simple door on the front as well. And of course sidewalks on all of them. And so I think I'm done with these 4 buildings as to how I wanted to do them. You know, I think you guys have pretty much seen this. They were pretty close to being finished except for just those extra details until recently. I also finished off the windowsills and stuff on to get the highlights on the windowsills for the yellow building. I haven't painted the terrain that I'd gotten as well. Like, I've just got them primed. I've got a fountain. I think I'm going to try to fill that, paint it sort of blue on the bottom and fill it with, it's got some cool tiles actually. Not sure if I showed that, but it really, I think, could make a nice looking detail. I think I'm going to paint it light blue and then maybe do a black wash in it to get the detail and then fill it with like a realistic water and have a nice little fountain. As well, it comes with a planter that I've got there and some park benches. So I've got a few of those just around. And then these tables actually came with the buildings. I'm just using them as just random tables on the board. I have some additional terrain that I've got on order, not buildings. I do want to add a building or two to this, although I think this will be it for a little bit as far as buildings go. I would like to add maybe some, maybe another building of this caliber, or maybe a row of brownstones is a possibility that I'll do that as well. But then I've got some other stuff coming that's just to fill out the board, things to throw like in the Marvel Universe game, as well as just really cool features that I'll be adding. But then I think I'm getting close after that to where I want to be with the board for the game. But yeah, I'm kind of liking the way it's looking quite a bit, and hope you guys have enjoyed the progress updates on this board. So I have a couple other things that I want to update you on, and like the last video, I'm just going to pan the video or clip it and just get to my desk. See you in a bit. Alright, well, I'm back with just progress on other stuff that I've got going on. What I actually spent this morning doing is actually just painting up Vision for the Marvel Universe game. For those of you that are not into the superhero stuff, he's one of the Avengers in Marvel, and he has made it into the movies, and so I think many people might know of him for that reason. What I ended up doing, which I'm quite happy about, is I chose an alternative color scheme for him. Being that I actually like the old school comics, I really wanted to kind of do him as a classic look. However, the sculpture, in my opinion, was designed in this case more for the cinematic look. If you look at all of the red here on his body, This is more, in my opinion, as I understand it, more of the cinematic look. The classic look was primarily yellow and green with the red face. You didn't have all these details sculpted in, like where I have all this light green. And so I didn't really feel comfortable just painting them all green with the yellow cape and the red face. I just didn't think it would do the sculpture justice, despite the fact that's kind of the look I'm used to. So there's a storyline called Earth 616, and I've never read it in the comics, but it actually has something that's much closer to this, where you have two different types of green, and then the yellow cape. And I actually liked it. I felt that it sort of does the sculpture a bit of justice, and it sort of has those details, like this little patch of light green there, and these things that are sculpted in that I wouldn't just be painting over all just one color. But then also maintains that sort of green and yellow look primarily. So yeah, I'm actually quite happy with the way he's looking. I'm looking forward to putting him on the board. For those of you that are interested in seeing more of the game, because I did do that sort of walkthrough, two reasons why I haven't actually done any more, even though I have those cardboard buildings, is one is I've been working on my terrain for it, and two, I've been wanting to. The initial starter sets are a bit limiting to create smaller point games, and I didn't want to just do the two starter sets against each other for a bat rep. So I'm wanting to get some of these newer guys done so I can mix it up with some have some interesting teams to do some more battle reports on the channel. And so yeah, so I have got Vision pretty close to being finished here. I've got to do his base. I'm pretty happy with the way he's looking. I did do my highlights on the green and the yellows. And so yeah, next up I think I'm going to do Hawkeye, so I can round out my two definite Avengers. Deadpool's also an Avenger, listed as an Avenger and an X-Men for the game, but I'm going to do, I think, Hawkeye next, so I have another Avenger in addition to him, and then I'm going to do Nightcrawler and Gambit. I'm going to just show my sculpting, where I'm at. I did a little bit. I've done quite a bit, actually, since the last update, in my mind. For those of you that remember seeing it before. I'm not... So, I've made... I still have a lot of work to do on this armored plate that's coming up. It's sort of like a harness, a shoulder harness, that he's going to be wearing. There's like no detail on it, it's just the basic form. I've kind of got the coat in the folds the way I sort of want it, and I put sleeves on and hands on, and I put these sort of, I forget the name of them, but they're like the things the officers wear on their shoulders that they have. I worked on the head today. This is still curing. I'm not that happy with it. I think I have some more work to do to create some additional features. Yeah, I just wasn't completely happy with it, but this is sort of the direction it's going. He is going to be bald, and I'm going to have like cables going from his head like into the night. I have a little bit more refinement to do with the head. Going to smooth some things out and just add a little bit more definition in different spots. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at so far. Been fun to do this. It'll be nice to see him in the chair for those of you that have been following along with this, that I did earlier, to have him sitting in there inside the night. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. So still a bit of work to do on him, not finished. And then, actually I haven't really done much for this, but the next thing I'm going to do after my few miniatures for Marvel is I've assembled and glued the guys to the bases for my Musket and Tomahawks French regulars. So they're coming up right afterwards. I also have some British there, and for those of you that remember my original sculpt, I did the face of the French Marine, because he was damaged. I just did an extra. I'm going to be painting him up along with the French, just so I get him painted, because I've never painted him up. So I've got my two Grenadiers, my officer on horseback for the French. And what I did do, thank you for all of your suggestions regarding the standard. I had a lot of good suggestions. what I ended up doing, and I guess I'll pull it out, is somebody made the suggestion about floral wire, and I thought, you know, when I was shopping, I was just like, what can I, maybe I can look into that, because I was thinking floral wire, I was thinking something much flimsier, you know, but what I found when I was researching floral wire is that there's a thing called stem wire, which is thicker. Now, it is meant to be twirled around stuff, but it actually has quite a bit of give to it. I mean, when you take the long wire out, it's not that tough, but if you look at it here, it's particularly if it's short, it's actually got a fair bit of structural integrity. I got a 20 gauge, which, like, I had, it's been a little while since that video. I think it was Derek Kinsman that had said that the 1 millimeter is actually a bit thick, you know, to his taste, so he kind of goes down to 0.5. I think this one's around 0. I think if you look at 20 gauge, it's somewhere around 0.6 millimeter, or maybe it's 0.8. I'm not sure. It's between 0.6 and 0.8. I actually found this worked pretty good. I was really nervous about drilling through the hands on this guy because I had to be pretty accurate, because he came with solid hands, nothing like like a cup, like with some of the Gripping Beast ones. You just sort of put it in, it's like the hand's cupped. I had to literally drill a hole through, and it was fairly thin, a fairly small space to do that, because the Minden miniatures don't have big bulky appendages and hands. I mean, they're actually quite small. So I was able to do it pretty well, and the bit that I used didn't work perfectly, but I just kind of, it was a little small, so I just kind of worked it around and it shaved it and made it a little bit bigger. And this is fitting kind of snug, and as you can see, it's not too bad. It's not too bad as far as its toughness, you know, it's pretty good. And so I was quite happy about that. So I think I'm going to get myself, never ordered any specialty flags, but I know which troop, or I should say, you know, like which regiment I want them to be a part of. I've picked it out, and I think I'm going to maybe get a GMB flag, I think is the name of the company, and order myself a couple of flags, maybe one for the future too for these guys. So yeah, next up, you know, is going to be doing some more heroes, finishing the Sculpting of the Night miniature, and then what I'll be doing is working on these guys. And then after that, I'll likely be doing Age of Sigmar, some goblins. And that is probably what I'll be doing mainly until I'll be staring down that big project I'll be announcing for fall, late fall, early winter. It'll most likely be this fall. It just depends on how long it takes me to do those goblins for the most part. I'm also going to participate in the Spooky Oktoberfest that Warboss Tay does for Halloween, or October this year, and so I'll be doing a miniature for that. It won't be a huge project, but it'll be something manageable I can do alongside all this stuff just to participate for that. So, all right, hope everybody's having had a good weekend. This is a long weekend in Canada, Labor Day, and so yeah, I'm off today, and so it's been a nice long weekend, and hope everybody's having a good one. Take care.